Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're going to be talking about some highlights from the interview that Andy Hall just recently did with the Rookery, as it's an hour long. There's a lot of fluff in there, but if you're interested for Total War like I am, this is probably going to be the video for you, because we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to just talk about specific answers, and anytime that I'm speaking, post this part, by the way, there'll be background of some sort, probably the Demon Prince just being the Demon Prince, you know? But yeah, let's jump right in, because there is a few exciting things to talk about.
Has popped in a question. So the Great Orthodoxy is a new creation to Total War Warhammer's depiction of Kislev. What motivated you to step away from the more wild, wandering nature of priests and religion depicted in Realm of the Ice Queen?
That was very much kind of a Games Workshop kind of wanted to do a fresh new Kislev, and we kind of came up together. We like the idea of having kind of, you know, this kind of uber religion kind of controlling faction kind of thing, a bit like the Magisterium in the Golden Compass stuff. And we kind of like that. It's superly dark and Warhammery. That again, the people you would think are good are actually just controlling. So we kind of went that way. But you know, the stuff in Bloomage's question about the wild and wandering nature, you know, that hasn't gone away. It's just we didn't focus on that to start with.
So when anything of value has been answered, I'm just going to cut it off there, because it's a lot of faffing about and there's a lot of back and forth. But yeah, Kislev is going to get stuff in the future. He's already said they haven't gotten down to it yet. So this is Ungals, Hags, all that type of stuff. The Chicken House, all the things that we knew from old Kislev eventually will come into Total War Warhammer 3. This is just because obviously they wanted to focus on the Gospodar version of the Kislevites first, which kind of makes sense considering that Catherine focuses around the Gospodar stuff. So yeah, well, she's a Gospodar herself. Anyways, let's continue.
It's a bit of both, to be honest. I was literally writing some building descriptions for Cafe this week, so and that stuff.
Okay, so we got some building descriptions, new ones. This is good. This means that Cafe DLC is in production. Whether or not this happens this year or not is unknown, because they claim they have a rather large roadmap. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, okay, this is actually kind of good. The fact is, Cafe does need DLC, so Kislev and Cafe already, we know, are getting stuff. This was a given anyway, but hearing it is important.
Games.
So Aker Biker asks, and I would love to know the answer to this too, how likely is the development of Nippon in Total War Warhammer 3?
Don't hold your breath. I have said this before, you know, Cafe was almost like this unique situation. We had experience with the Eastern audience. We needed some good guys for all the demons we were facing. So it was like a confluence of scenarios that allowed us to kind of generate this, or, you know, allow for Games Workshop to generate this brand new...
Okay, I'm cutting here. He says, don't hold your breath for Nippon. He doesn't specifically say no. Keep in mind that Creative Assembly lie a lot. Andy himself has said a few times, oh no, the demon factions are just demon factions. They're not monogod. Now they're monogod factions. So yeah, keep in mind that they won't be able to just say, yeah, we will likely do Nippon, or maybe, because that's going to give people a hint. They're likely going to say no. In fact, later on in the interview, he says a small amount of races still need to be introduced into the series. So yeah, it's kind of odd. A lot of back and forth, wishy-washy stuff in this interview.
This journey's been. Yes, as and when we get to looking at those new characters, I dare say they will get new mechanics and refreshed mechanics. I can't be specific because, you know, we have announced plans and this podcast isn't sadly one of them. But yes, certainly the principle will be when we get to those characters for a refresh, we'll look at their mechanics and update.
So I had to cut out a little bit at the beginning because I think he was getting a little bit confused, thinking that people liked Volkmart, the original release in Warhammer 1. Either way, yes, there's confirmation now that they still have plans to go back to Game 1 and Game 2 characters and fresh them up a little bit like Volkmar had now, Manfred, and so on, which I feel is really, really important. There are a lot of characters, like, god damn it, when is Skrull going to get plague mechanics? That's the big one for me. Yeah, this is good. I'm happy about that. Hopefully that can happen during patches when there's no content. It would be great if we had little refreshes coming in during that period.
Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in letting people get excited and mythologize about what's going on and what their take would be. I think one of the big things we don't do, and no, is we don't look at fan dexes and fan army lists and stuff. Not because I don't think they're cool, because we don't want to be compromised and open ourselves up to legitimacy issues and author issues. Same reason Terry Pratchett never read any fan work of the Discworld. He wouldn't do that, because if he then wrote a book about that, fan could maybe claim that was his idea. No, I think it's cool that people talk and get excited about Warhammer and have their own takes. But it's not something we as kind of creators / adapters can participate in for the reasons I've kind of said. It's pretty obvious, really, isn't it?
Right, so I'm only leaving this here because it's nothing against CA. I don't know if what Andy's saying is true or not, but when it comes to Games Workshop, they don't take from other things, do they? Really? Because we know Cafe and stuff had to come from Games Workshop. It's actually confirmed in this interview too. But Games Workshop are very famous for hippity hoppity, this is now my property. You guys have no idea how much I laughed when I heard this part of the interview and I linked it up to Games Workshop.
We do have that freedom if we want to, look at those more esoteric units or Forge World units, or even, stuff that's in an old RPG supplement. If it's there, we'll and we need it to kind of flesh out our roster, we'll bloody take it. We will not just scrape the barrel, we will go through the base onto the cobbled cellar floor below.
So this is something quite important, mostly for my own sake in my videos, because I do reference, like, say, for example, the RPGs. And I do say, look, they're likely to take from this when new stuff comes out, if anything of importance comes out. And yeah, here we go. Absolute confirmation that the RPGs will also be relevant to Total War Warhammer 3, and I feel like that's very, very important because the people at Cubicle 7 are absolutely amazing, and they always try to implement some really cool things. Big love to the guys at C7. I really love talking to them. They are so lovely, and you can tell that they absolutely love Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay, so... Full Metal Cornflakes, the last Lord pack we got was a bit unorthodox. Is there a particular reason why the formula changed? And is it possible that we're going to see more types of DLC we haven't seen before?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think it's fair to say Warhammer 3 is a new game, and we're looking at the way we do things. And it's all for the better, and it'll be cool and stuff.
Okay, so they do have some other plans for some new types of DLC. We've already seen, Lord packs, we've seen race packs, we've seen Champions of Chaos, which I usually call a culture pack. Maybe there's more. We know that in a previous interview, they did talk about the potential of a endgame DLC pack, which I don't think so. Like, if they're giving endgame scenarios now for free, I'm not paying for one. But you never know for future stuff. Mini race packs is something that I've talked about a lot in the past, and it's definitely something that should happen. Well, let's hope,
I mean, I've got the book, so I will look at it and read it, and if there's anything there, I will, like I said, use and abuse it as and when. I've said this before several times in different interviews. Our standard is Warhammer 8th edition, and then from there we'll go down to lower editions, probably 7th, and kind of ancillary products like Tamakan and Forge World. Why have I said Tamakan? And then we'll go lower and lower. Lower and lower sounds quite disparaging. I don't mean it, but we will go
Deeper and deeper, yeah.
deeper into the thing. And you know, Kubrick 7's work is really good. I know one of the writers, Dave. I used to work with him because he's ex-Workshop as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so and we work with them as well.
All right, I'm just going to cut it here because just kind of reiterating constantly. But yeah, again, Cubicle 7, very, very important. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition is the main one right now. We know there's loads of new stuff, new lore coming in there. Warhammer the Old World, the new version of Warhammer Fantasy, which hopefully should be next year, is also a source of inspiration. He's got the books. Remember in a previous interview that I did with Lore Master Sotek, yeah, he had the books to read off directly. So yeah, this is definitely stuff. If any new units come in, anything that I'm kind of hoping for, I really, really hope for certain units on the tabletop, then we'll likely see them in here if they fit for a theme for a DLC.
If I'm being honest, that was probably the last time I thought about a Poppy. When I answered that question, yeah, we have some swarm tech now with the Nurglings, so yeah, why not?
So he's saying here, yeah, why not? Doesn't mean that we're going to see the character, though Prince Apophis is very, very cool. He's a Tomb King character. He's the guy with the scarabs all over the place. It would be great. Honestly, it would be really, really cool if we saw him as a character. Don't know about Legendary Lord. Legendary Hero kind of makes sense, mostly because he serves the god of undeath and then later serves Nagash during the end times. So, yeah.
I think there are some patch stuff that's happening. But yeah, I think all the focus will certainly have been on the new content for patch 3 and a forthcoming DLC, which may or may not be Chaos Dwarfs.
Oh, is that not? That's not. Okay, I just heard the rumors and assumed.
We may have teased, and yes, there are. Yeah, we have a small amount of races to bring. So I'd say it's a good guess.
So I'm rewinding as I am also editing this video, as I've got 3 monitors currently working on this. Thankfully, I must have some sort of ADHD because I can deal with multiple things at once. But yeah, small amount of races for the future. So yeah, there's going to be more races. That's why I found the original Nippon comment kind of weird, considering that we're kind of expecting them, possibly with a new name. The thing is, we're likely going to see Ind and Koresh first, same with the Southern Realms, but yeah, this is the main thing, right? So that's pretty much it. If you want any bit more context, you've got a post on Reddit here on screen right now by Baron Lloyd. And yeah, you know, they do have plans for a lot of stuff in the future. They even claim that they have a very large roadmap planned, like not the roadmap that we'll likely see, but their internal one, which is great. Hopefully they can stick to it, because considering that the public roadmap didn't really get fulfilled, yeah, but yeah, let's just quickly go down this list. So more race packs, that's expected. Cafe and Kislev, new unit descriptions, that was already covered. 3 Kingdoms being a reason why Cafe was greenlit is quite interesting, because obviously we do know of former Creative Assembly staff saying that by the time they left, even though they were working on Warhammer 3, Cafe wasn't even a plan. So yeah, loading screen characters. Yeah, the hints were always a thing. It's just you never know when it's going to happen. Lord packs are no longer the priority. There's new DLC types. I still think Lord packs are coming, but it's just going to be a shift. Nippon went from nope to don't hold your breath, which is a little bit better. You know, it's not a flat out no. 3.0 is all about choice, which is kind of disappointing. There should be some fixes coming in, hopefully. Nagash and Thankful, they didn't really get confirmed, but we knew about Thankful for a long time now, because they were confirmed there. More Croc style DLCs on the way. Yeah, that's all good. AOS demon units can be brought to the game as and when approved. Yeah, that's all good. I don't really care about the units though. I care more about the warriors. They did hint about future stuff from Forge World, which makes sense. There was also a Tamukon hint, which I feel is kind of redundant. We all kind of know it's coming. I mean, Champions of Chaos was based on Zanbaijin, you know? Old World Tabletop being a main source of news, then maybe you guys might be a bit more interested in the Old World news stuff. It's monthly nowadays, you know? Well, we're still waiting for this month's one. The advisor doesn't really seem to serve a purpose. He's just there due to budget cuts. I don't know, because they kind of hyped him up in Warhammer 3's launch, and then, yeah. But yeah, this is all good. This is all good. I'm happy. I feel like this is good. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can really say, to be honest. I'm hoping that Creative Assembly keep up to the level of hype that they've said in the past, and we can just go from there. But until then, what do you guys think about all this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's going to be a late posting video, I think, or it's just going to get pushed back to tomorrow. But yeah, have a lovely day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon.